August Busome ni de kanga na jofano sebrum Kasiebo na yede erebremo fi TV XYZ and the power 97.9 the Fei Radio XYZ na the 3.1 Kasiebo yi ebekwa kofa voter power so 94.1 Global FM wo ho sharp water crade Insoma FM wo krankwanta bomu wo jasi kanji nyame wo sampa nananom ewa hafogo so Western Radio wo ziama elembele KFM 92.1 ewa kwa zangligi FM wo bole VC Radio ni TV odunko no fin Atom Local FM wasa Citro High Radio wo bechem Radio SM online.com ni apo 68 FM wo Virginia USA tuning Yawo power 97.9 Daisy Radio nso wa Italy Adamfopa Radio wa Paris G Life Radio wa UK OPD Radio wa UK my XYZ online.com multi TV digibox ne so radio channel XYZ so Kasiebo yi enam ho Facebook ya power 979 ne fei TV XYZ Ghana YouTube ya XYZ broadcasting Lao Silence Television wa America ne Ghana memo ha Kasiebo yi enam ho fei uko Wimpans and Pawudi FM wa Busiga Adeshia wo retie Kasiebo bi afa honom Nyansapo FM ewo Shama sansusu na Gateway Radio ewo Nkwanta South Rich FM ewo Sinfusu 101.5 ewo Dambai Bono FM ewo Sunyampo Tem 107.5 Trinity FM ewo Bogoso Sunset Radio ewo Bibieni Kasiebo enam ho adwenkyere na ye Friday edafem ye bekenkan ni nyinara ediamma lovely kwanso de bedimu akotibini Onwanyafo Sam George wodi atudwa ya wo chese aban ni dwumadie 1 million codes program na wodi aba no sese no waboa tete ade hye dodo no abeyo ha anwotwe ene aduonum enkron sawa no se minka che DSTV wo se busumi ayewo mini da beto so song ene nyankropon ya doma na otwefufra ebesimu eze ene na otwe pepepe mo tete mu subscription so ya o se minka che hey mo license no ensi efunye free mu zem na no watch say radio stations makoma ko be yaduosia nan bia wotumu e wo Ghana ha mampani yes o won hwe na wo mobre na wontimi nya de sefata no makoma ko aduenum enan de wo matimi etu anamo na wasangade mo jawon sa na etumi tututu bitu yen ke nya de sa mo se mra no obi twa waso wo hia na waye de bi akoye gete hey some not a George o se mo TikTok so o se enche wode ntetewe ebekwa amamu se na ebeye mu benya sika de afrim wate na onwanyafo erikopoku won na yosofo yi ohwe man Ghana ye nuane ene ekua yoso sabre abaso body emu oduru pa de binsi da akọ edi amano erikopoku abo adwuma yie pa MTN akopemu otimantem akodi dwuma bi ewo ho se na be adehia wo ho nkitahudi betumi akonkan emu kyeremu wo Kasiebo yi mu ekuo bi a yefre won se Revenue Mobilization Africa wamudi atoma mpanyi His Excellency John Dramani Mahama anim se wasrada Unibank ya eguye ne banks ahodro bi a mampani dada kufu ado abreso ne nyina eguye no yenye mu hwehwemu obuafo sorunkodi ma omampani eye Joyce Bawa Moktari ode afutusam bi atogwa kwa ma Ghana miayiwa Wiasia mansan ya pomudin kubatan sabre wamo kyerese cervical cancer ehu pa tie wase ye mayani ekọ ho eyi ni sanfufu bi ne nana jofenu anum benu yanga tena se yareba bekinkan ede amamu se Kasiebo nyumaku bi asidan koma Solak Natural Clinic yedamasi yepa Ostek Real Estate 3P Gallic Mesha yedamasi Little George Kahubi Power Specialist Heba Hospital Let's Talk Educational Consult Spanish Gallic Mesha ni capsules no kan bi Haxa Mesha so eyedru papa Med Moses o se Michael Jones lifted no eno ne bebuao Ruta Mesha Ruta Titanic nso Kahubi Misa kanu mi pa draw no beba so enche kra efe MTN fusi kokobonzem bi wo ho won adaro mantini edi Kasiebo yi erebremo akenkanfo midinde akra Kofi Dakon mene da chema akosia oforiwa amanfo any lovely man say ina dida na kwamu yanga tete uniema so wo munkuto wo menwa ye ntewo mo krada na mo yema ye mampani ko ebribia munkutwa ndisifu ye bribia munka ho bi nso de bia boso me bia ye betu ahonka adenti o se hwie be kopem busumia ye wo meni da beto so eson monim na mo antete so dia National Communication Authority won't say mun lances to me krata mamo say mo betuma ye djuma wo man mu no yenye den yenye ni nyina fi musem Samuel Nate George de 72 gba ne de yara ewo mampanyin atenai ewo eye na otwe biara nhyiamu asuafo no wo mu ni nsemtwefo hia na won akire niam a won aye no honom na Samuel Nate George de 72 gba wo
The announcement that I had directed multi-choice to be present at the ministry for a meeting. At that meeting, we requested a 30% reduction in pricing for subscribers of MultiChoice Ghana's packages. The meeting addressed public concerns about affordability, value for money, and fairness in service delivery. I made clear the ministry's expectation that pricing structures had to be responsive to Ghana's current economic context. I made a formal request of 30% reduction in the package pricing and gave a deadline of July 21st for a formal response from MultiChoice. I wrote back to the NCA on Monday and directed the NCA in that letter to suspend the broadcasting license of DSTV effective 7th of August 2025 if they fail to effect a reduction in their bundle prices. I cannot, as minister serving the Ghanaian people, continue to watch what can best be described as plain stealing happening to the Ghanaian people.
George Tuani says to show me say Ushe channels ni bi say Ghana.gov digital platforms no ekufa do abreso no wo mo operate ye chese nkrata semi tuka eno so say no canify.
The Ghana.gov platform has run under the previous administration of President Akufo-Addo without a contract. Millions of Ghana cedis, in fact hundreds, tens of millions of Ghana cedis were paid every month to companies without a contract. We have put an end and a stop to that. Since President Mahama came into office, not a pesewa has been paid on that because we cannot keep paying for a project that has no contract. The ministry has redesigned the project. We're going to launch it in Q4 of this year, working closely with the Ministry of Finance. We're currently at the Public Procurement Authority seeking clearance to proceed with a public tender to ensure that the best value for money is achieved for the Ghanaian people. The redesigned site will feature faster access, full Ghana card integration, an intuitive streamlined interface tailored for both individuals and businesses, and will harmonize all of government's payment gateways and platforms into one portal.
George, Minister for Communications.
Now, Nensama who do it to dra and ne ewo jumadi no ase no watch say aban jumadi a wode aba wato ne din say 1 million codes program no abatena se na wo application who do ebegu o madwoso mu a na kire say nya asem kuma kra be ye empem aduokro 90,000 na kwawi a kire no ade hye makomako be ye ahawotwe ene aduonum enkro.
I'm looking forward to the TikTok partnership with the ministry to provide capacity building for our content creators in the country on how best to monetize that platform for the benefit of Ghanaian content creators. That should happen in Q4 this year.
You're Sam Natty George.
Na ne krakra mo no ache say radio stations makomako be ye duosia nan bia na no ada wo yes say wo mo license no mo dwumadie emfa na kwamu nti watom a mampanyi a wo no te ne manfo ase a wo te Ganafo ensem ase ye be kire say wo ma mo bre na wontimi mfantu na mo nye asiesie nyina no emu makomako be ye aduonum enwotwe 58 de wo mo di wo se ayoyo atusa na mo no.
Can recover all loot oral specific to broadcasting frequency audit. As part of the government's oral initiative, the ministry directed the NCA to conduct a comprehensive audit of broadcasting frequencies. The first phase of the audit revealed multiple regulatory infractions with a total estimated tax penalty of 9.5 million Ghana cedis. Several stations have already been shut down for non-compliance. The ministry remains committed to reclaiming state assets and ensuring that frequencies are allocated transparently and in accordance with law. And you will also recollect that about 5 weeks ago, the ministry issued a directive to the NCA to shut down 64 radio stations. The President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, intervened and requested for amnesty, which we granted a 30-day amnesty. Let me state that of the 64 radio stations, 58 of them have written to the NCA and started the process of regularizing their paperwork. However, you would recall that I indicated that the total number of radio stations in default was 210. The 64 was just one phase. We expect that the public sensitization with the
for Sam Nate George Nenka Eniati.
Yagusu Tina Nkitahudi in some ways and say MTN fo wamu share Nkitahudi betima konkan or memo akopemo team mantamo and one is central for Akonya Nkitahudi senebe wanga manebo wodi fi honum ebankran ne fe Ghana fananyina no nema be konkan ede amawon ewo honum network no one operations manager osho T ne fe fra eye from mantamo eni epwe mantamo eyo George Hunakpa odi nsem bi to yanga manebo ni Ibrahim so enim
NTTR, the meantime to restore network phones. Most of the engineers are residing in Bantam, being the central point to maybe Yendi, to Pasar, and then that to maybe to Jasika and KGB, and then to Damba itself. So that's where we centralize most of our engineers. And whenever there's an outage after 5 or 6, they can't go. They have to wait for the next morning before they can attend to this fault. Some when they come to resolve fault, they are just maybe when it's the time of the net fit and heat, they have to wait for the next one before they can move to. So indeed, this is party operations in terms of network resilience. For operational wise, we have lost some short yes. Typical example is what happened last week. We had a private cat at Katanga, which in fact, if indeed there's no curfew, the engineers can be on site at that time. But it took the whole night for the engineers to move from Ipata around 6 o'clock. A strike that can be resolved, an incident that can be resolved within the next 2-3 hours. It took about 8-9 hours. All because of it. So indeed, it's really fatal operations.
Wachi otimantamo otitine ne dima Ghana Journalists Association olwakwa bananto so edin sembi etu yanga manebo ni enim wosa aye dwumadi a woko ase no anamon a wonso obetu ede afa ho.
Discussion has been enlightening, and I'm confident that it will strengthen our relationship with MTN and improve our reporting on telecommunications issue in the region. So I do appreciate whatever thing we have discussed here, which I know as professional journalists, we are going to preach to the world or to our listenership so that actually they will know what MTN is all about.
Eyo ra kwabnanto oye chairman de Ghana Journalists Association ewoti region.
Oswafo no ene hwe oman Ghana yenkuayo ena fenso yenuane eso eyorumonyafo Eric Opoku eneyi ne krasi na yo wamesanse abasobodie yemu oduru padi ebinsi da akọ ediamano na wei every African Union Agenda 2063 mpanifo ena womabo anan abo memu a womu abebo na baso a wei diplomatic medal of merit ena womu edia kwamano ne nyina ne se na dwuma payi a wobo edebo makua ejira ne naso na eye krabehwe ewo Munti and Womatimi Etusa Anamoin. Now His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Stephen Batigbi Ben Joel wano ena penny yawo ye enamusini edima UN ena sabre wojina simpie so a wode nsem tu dwa kire se wonmonyamfo na dwuma so ani pa enu nti ne nei wo mabona baso sei.
One of the things we want to do for agriculture here is to create a hub, a cluster of farmers where we will set up major rice mill, industrial size rice mill, and the farmers will be in clusters where tractors and other improved seedlings and everything will be given to them, and even finance. By that also we will set up major storage facilities so that the country will have what we call food security and sufficiency. The blueprint is there, and we believe that by the time we're through with the government and we dot the I's and cross the T's, Ghana will definitely stand out in rice production and other production that will that other produce production. The capacity, by the grace of God, we have. Secondly, we are here to honor Honorable Eric Opoku, the Minister of Food and Agriculture.
His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Stephen Baktigbi ena yate nenken na enwachi no enwasofo ye wono ene hweku ayoso ewo mai emo wonwanyafo Eric Opoku ekire se sa adwumaden a wabo anyina no enye ono ko ana ho odene na emom no bowram ewa Greek ministry hono ampanifo mo ho nyina ena o mata nachi amanaduru mpempenso na Ghana mampani ani so ade hunu a wode atokwan mu se obeboa mo mai kuayo agina braninti ena ono so enya hofama wode eboa amakuayo no atimi atumpon.
Africa is endowed with a lot of agricultural potentials. In fact, it is recorded that Africa is in possession of close to 70% of the world's agricultural resources. Yet, our contribution to the global agricultural output estimated around 10%, indicating that even though we have the resources, we are unable to optimize the use of these resources. A clear indication that the potential exists, given the right investments, the political will, and the commitment, we should be able to use agriculture to transform our economies. On assumption of office, the President directed that looking at the potentials we have in Ghana here, agriculture is going to be the engine for economic transformation.
Penye tene nkan yourself for your show man Ghana yenkuya ene yenuane eso wodbonyafo Eric Opoku.
Yes, we live for Facebook or TVXYZ Ghana and if a power 97 na yentu Kasiebo no so na oboafo soronko de ma omampene John Tramani Mahawa Joyce Bawa Moktari ano de afutu enefe nkranhwesem akwa Ghana meba nyina se mumu moden pim komanim esan se dachi niam betumi akonkan ye e de amamo ochem se ohwe Ghana yamampene ngabedi ekire Excellency Professor na Jeno Pokwa Diman so yo bia na obetumi abeye omampene a odikan wo mamudia ogedi ye papa se munyina so mudi humesu anase nimdi ahoro a yede bema mo mudisu ya betumi aboa mo manema bekonkan e de amamo. Madam Joyce Bawa Moktare din samitu gwa wabra won ehihye obasima adwumedi a ebaso e wo Unimark campus e won kranha.
For starters, where you just teach a master class on how to present yourself, how to speak out. If you watch in the room, if I were a teacher, for most of the kids who stood up to ask questions, I'll probably not give them even 5 over 10. You understand? There's a way you ask a question, there's a way you collect your thoughts together, there's a way you pick your choice of words, there's a way you even present yourself when you want to ask a question. And I'll probably say that on confidence, I'll probably rate them maybe 4 out of 10. I think that it's important that we try as much as possible. Also, you see, a lot of people go for interviews and they are not successful. Not because they are not knowledgeable, but sometimes it is just how you present yourself at the interview. And I think that these are conversations that we should be having. I mean, yeah, you can go to social media and ask Google, but imagine me, for example, being the example and hosting a podcast that tells young people how to speak, how to ask questions, how to show up for an interview, something very interactive, light and sweet. I think that it was something that people will be very interested in because it's easier even to mentor people indirectly than when you have to do it directly all the time.
Ye a special aid Edima Ghana Mampene Joyce Bawa Moktari and Amotin in Nechi Kofabai Edima Obasima Foundation Ama Prat and Sudi a futu sembi Ekoma Ghana Miawanina.
I mean the impact is the people, right? The impact is Fati, the one that's coordinating today's program. Fati we met in her first year here at GIG. Right? It's the first time Fati came to an Obasima program. And I remember talking with her, Fati expressing how shy she is. Today, Fati is the past first female SRC president of the Ghana Institute of Journalism. You know, the impact is every young girl who is still a member of Obasima, who came to Obasima, who decided to be a part of the community, and who herself today is inspiring the next girl. Every point at which you get there is self-doubt. When you move from step 1 to step B, it's a new role. You have to reinvent yourself to match up to that role. And so we are all consistently doubting ourselves. Nobody is there.
Ye a founder Dima Obasima Foundation. Nidingri Ama Prat.
Na ekwobia yefra wonse revenue mobilization Africa nei wamo edi ato Ghana mampanyi His Excellency John Dramani Mahama nim se ni manim ya wonte abojokuo bi na wontena se na wonye hwemu no mo asukopa efa banks ahodo bia abandada ye atwa mo call ye MPP abanya bre ya na mampanyin dada kufuado etie banwa mu a mo begu banks ahodo bi no wasesa ade no nanti ase papa bi anim ene Unibank ya na edimu akotene ato esien koda mu ya ye jeli ni be ye mfinhia edunu mu anano oda court man be ni nyina no otena asedwe ho ano a wonte ase wontimi mfiti preko pensore se migu banks ahodo ama omanfo bi a wosika ka mu besi nne no akoya breko sempa enti omo srese ni manim ya nhwemu mapa no entimi enkoso emfa ho na pani a wono ena executive director Edema Center for Environmental Management and Sustainable Energy Ora Benjamin Insia ena de nsem etudwa
itu saa na moya ebeboa ono abaina mu na aboa Ghana fo nyina na ejitu se bosume nyensa a ede yenime o se aban etumi itu saa na moya ye ka ho asemi na otumi tu saa na mo yi animanimu ya na se ntemu a ebeboa ono anamu because yisikasem na ye kan and if any government wants a positive image in the eyes of the public I think that the ebeboa say obetu anamon pa eye omanfo no ana se nyina ye de na yenim se sa sika ya hwere se aban animanimu ya timi tu saa na mo ya based on the demands any actions are ya throw ya ebeboa amayehu ye di kan se bia aban no e de kwan paso enebu Unibank se bia aban no e de kwan paso ene de Unibank e court se bia sika a ya hwere no ni nukrem ene ya hwere sika. And these are public accountability issues. And any responsible government, you know, abaya or you very responsible, no, also otie na or making sure say at the money ya no, your call no, or be put into practice.
Ra Benjamin Insia and Ayatene Kain and what you know an executive director Edema Revenue Mobilization Africa or Ra Okansi one also the way at Waso.
Amount of money that were used to collapse these banks. There's been a lot of discussions around it. It started from a 9 billion that we thought were going to be used, and then we arrived at a 25 billion. That alone was some outstanding issues, and clarity was sought around that time already. So it travels, like you said, rightly said. I think it's only proper. If you remember the national reconciliation that was held, some of the crimes were committed years on, but then when you go through and they are petitioning, if you realize not only Unibank, the other banks also came back with issues. I mean, so you've heard, I don't know if you heard the argument of GN Bank as well. And so in the business sphere, there's been some other discussions around what they thought and how they thought they were not fairly treated. So I think all these were waiting, and then the issue of this Unibank matter came up when people had in their thinking of a 60-40.
Adishmama Penny in Kay Yera Okensi Wano and the executive director Revenue Mobilization Africa.
Musha link no from my Facebook or Power 979 FA TV XYZ Ghana and FA Radio XYZ 93.1 Yantua Kasiebo no son consent fufu emona student loan trust fund mpenyefo and wanga bwa management say bria what the mind say obi a obetumi apply no otimenya no fee stress policy bi no nanka breno aso so won say minka kire mu say wodo munti aban John Dramani Mahama so afo hwe humesu hu so ani mpenyefo nyina do Ghana fo nyina nti wo say minka kire mu say date no oh wanga stand what the biabeka ho kopim against busumini da ebeto so esong no ena afedi kwakwa no date ni nyina wode ni nyina beba na wie na nkratase a wode aba no wotwem so bibia betumi apply bi se na ebeye sika wonso betumi anya na wo ne ma bekonkan ede ama woni nti ena won etusa anamo ni nyina mo no wo mu se minka nkire mu se mo amuye final year student nso amonso mu wo mu brembreng no nso mu betumi apply se na ebeye na extension no ne ma betumi akosue na monso mo nyamu emfaso no ebi enti ni tintini ni tete nyina ni se wo se bepemi ne se wo apply wo student loan trust fund nim na ubenya mfaso wo o mampani John Dramani Mahama ne timupo se ubeko school na school fees enkofa hobby na nkotiti biara ewom ne ayeka ne se no fee stress no policy no modia o se minka cham se August 7th ena eno a bad deadline.
Adishima yanto ansam no so na yenko yanim ewo nsam ahodo emu wiasem mansan kubatan apomudi kubatan no ye no eye World Health Organization enei won mo kire se kokram yade a ye tai ba ma so ne titru pa de to ema awodie mu a fense cervical cancer no yade a ekoso pa wiasem mansan nyina na eye hu ya ekoso ekumma na won hwehwemu a won aye kire se afebia enko na wieye no na ema dodo be ye 600,000 ena womu enya saa yade yi bia womu kire mu se dodo no anso ena timi efamu eto nananomo ewonse do na wode edro bia ba watu ne din se HPV vaccines ya no wiase mansa nyina wogusu a wo tretre anaso wo chechese na be ya ebetimi aboa ne yedi akuatie yade ya wo man Ghana yensoso ye ka ho bi na no ena pani a wogina mu edema wiase mansa apomudin kubatan eye Dr. Fiona Braka wa kire se ehu behia se ne manim ya wiase mansa nyina kandifo eni bekosa yade we hu se ne be ya se de edi emanya no ye betimi atwe ho afri ho.
We are happy that there is a vaccine that is available and that it will be introduced in Ghana. There are 140 countries globally that have introduced the vaccine. 28 of them are in sub-Saharan Africa, so Ghana will be joining that group. Vaccination is very important for us here in sub-Saharan Africa because access to diagnosis and treatment early is a challenge. Most people, over 70%, are diagnosed late, and that leads to poor outcomes. So if we can prevent the disease before it gets to people, that would be a very important measure to really curb cervical cancer globally.
And yet, ye Dr. Fiona Braka and I yatini ken and what you know and now Boremu Asante Mantemwa. Ashanti Regional Director at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Fred Adumakon, one also editor dra says, Roya, a woman edia baya, de babe bois, my fakokram yadia, a to warm awudiemono, a pa ya ebetimi abwa.
So far, Kokrama, a to a mawodianwa. What's statistics now? I think say WHO, WR, no a catcher. Those who bear the brand pa sub-Saharan Africa Ghana ka real P, you know, omo munya sa cancer, you know, omo ma hospital. Improve omo beba hospital no kra no na we ni beka say terminal stage. Ana emra wontimi enye bibia about the cancer. Enti ope target group a obetimi bia mo normally no Akrano Obano should not be exposed sexually.
Mama Penny Tinin K. Dr. Fred Aduma Koko Asante Mantema Pomudin Atana Yanon Penia Wada Womo Ano.
Dan come nyumeku MTN fuse minka chose still one SIM card no 10 Ghana cedis per mobi in nadaw na nkoto no ebia 11 cedis eti bomodem kobe bibiara MTN fo one service center ewo anase connect store anampo impotema wo no community shop won agya tum no kotobi na bra o rekono bomodem so udi valid Ghana card ebeko na want me register infama na brebia nkoso ye infa emma yankopon yadoma ne anajofe no so pepepepe yubi Kasiebo na minsa ka no mepamcho draw no ebebaso sa unya twa bia fa ho gem star 274 hash star 274 hash na win a big utwa ye betu 5 Ghana cedis per twa star 274 hash yalibi na bibia nkoso ye fama router product no router title na kene fe router mixture no ye malaria dro router life no boye pa wafu no ebe kofem ebe ye fi biara fi ni pedua no mipacho upedudu wetu wa no friend 0244 503 443 na Medimosis ose mika chiro say na Friday guys mobia meka bibia fanchiro post mu siam ko ho no ntu asemfa ma emia no ose me mabre wo sexual weakness jai ye du bia sa de we emfataw bomodin ko ene fe mrante no so boys no halitosis nyade pa etimu nso mu comedy Moses akachi na bibia nkoso ye emfa ma no our dental barrier on police station no ene right opposite across central Ghana Highway Authority yard no me fe ajekojo on school for the death no ne di nimre kumase ahene makokobe in friend was 0244 068 447 Haksa Misano yɛfo yare druning ne pacho bo didi sans onye kasida aisa branti bia menim no na afu se nete obedi aduan nso kaside ebi abono ti kope bi nanom na bebia nkoso ye efama uye adwuma kakra no wani so bri woni ade a ne pacho haksa misha ne capsules no eno na bebuya wo FDA fu wanga jedri atum uye obi anya frisha du mienya na so obi apim for mpacho ana urima bofra no fu a enkotobi kra na uko kanshi drug lebi wo ho Medina Card Pharmacy Little George Waterma Community 5 Kasua Jukat Pharmacy upedodo netu ana wa 0240 238 310 and that's 0203 822 855 Spanish Hebrew Papa no me pacho ultimate kakra na unanga huna me pacho Spanish garlic misha ene ni capsules no ena ubenom emia obu sana se moja ni meyi arthritis ene fe halitosis me pacho bomoding pe Spanish Hebrew baby na no halu seba wo kan she bi wo ho tina tete bi wo ho repair she bi wo widama shaiman Ecus Pharmacy bi wo ho no benye bi ato ene fe House of Drugs and so be honum. Ducat Pharmacy workers so a dependable herbal home. Ewo eye Medina Benob and if a Gapsin Pharmacy so ewo Koforidria. Upedudu to an offer 0266 114 111. Let's talk educational consult with Pacho. Honey Eddie Mofrani Beko Akote Humesium Montetewe. Wanga Busumi Esian Kono. Yanfa Wamukwe. Esanse Wabang. Eye Lejokuku Municipal Assembly no ewo Teshinua Estate Honum. For 0249 069 821. Power Specialist Eba Hospital, hepatitis A, B, C, no, or one drew a fatty liver, prostitutes and some, ulcer, fibroid, and the kidney stones will be to a say Eddie amount. Jirika Jiri, and your boy said, Drumbari my druning, more and a first Friday of the month. Mobia Nandao, if a herbati mission to a boosting immune system, no, and to Kowanga Suye Honum, pharmacy shop Biara, Obenyabiato, and I say Akrakwabinya, ACP Quantiponiso, Power Hospital bus stop one, Butukumase, or Fayasi Lake Boson, Quantiponiso, Eduya Junction, and if a Takra Day, and Naji Estate, Robert Hunter, Morura Bank, no, part of 0244 544 442, and 0200 383 831, and 055 797 878. Little George Ewatema Community 5 Osemika Jose Koa Misha or Koa Plus or Dominion powder bi ho healthy juices are whole with the carrot and the turmeric ginger ninyina bi wo ho eye udu hono so Vansako activated powder e bi ho Sabashko bites so benye bi ato ho friend was 0243 140 213 3P garlic mesha garlic drupa papa sebi stress and nase bloated stomach wefuyi ayekese mpacho enu ne bebua unanga etiti general body pain and if obesity me pacho kotobi ewo okanshi kofisam kingswalk ebi wo hotel community 5 Little George Medina phone fe St John's mungotobi wo health alert shop upedodo to an offer doctor ewo 0248 928 824 and 0201 000 021 Ostek Real Estate yebekwakoto asase bi wododowa ayikuma asebi doyumu afenya dowenya ene shy hills akon ene fenya namkania wo hodeda fra 0244 084069 ene fe 0240 933 748 ene 0266 101 406 Nekato na mama yadu bia piesi akwaba eye Solak Natural Clinic infertility awo ye dinga ma ye man kosu ye fama wa mpacho kona kachi prostate nsensem insomnia edu na found me na mpacho ko Dr. Solomon Papa bi akachi esanse oye lab ahuru nyina bi fibro scan prostate scan nyina oye bi owo kokomlemle obe Harvard Senior High School no etifone was 055 393 2631 yadu bia piesi abetena se na Friday lovely ena no na mini nkran enti ofa ne ho ye ni obetumi ye ne owa ya lovely yeah bibia boko
oh sene I can lovely sene I can lovely bibia boko
mo ene je di Kasiebo
very lovely
then a woman.
Well, Lakra Ochina Yeridiara ho and a creative arts agency, FA, you may find the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and a Creative Arts, and FA Creative Arts Agency, no, and Sana Ghana Tourism Authority. When you now worry boom no a vigil, Ediama, a papa when your baby echo a daddy lumba. Charles Kojofusu na vigil no ebekoso ewo eye Independence Square e ho na vigil no ebekoso na sa vigil ebekoso wo ho no enya de ketwa wo ho insem bebre aba betoso insem bebre wo ho na emum insem e wo ho ni nyina echi no vigil no ebeba so ochena ewo eye Independence Square inti eye Creative Arts Agency wosi men kan kire muse ochena ampaye beja wo ho because ye diare ho young legend ba ko Daddy Lumba we nya ne baby akọ intine eyare ho sem e na ato Ghana fo ade ato Ghana fo ani intine wo return side afre adofo nyina se wo ba unya candle ba ko bia na ade wo de ato ba agim no abegina Independence Square because from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. de ebekoso wo ho say ebeso yen candle nefe a minute of silence, an hour of silence, an hours of silence ni nyina na de ama Daddy Lumba in memory of Daddy Lumba and only kakra creative art agency no ebetimi edi aboa Daddy Lumba na etiefo eni ahwefo say me bo Daddy Lumba dingna deng na eba wetim TVXYZ for adwumayefo NFA impayno for eda no nsema wo bo Daddy Lumba dinga eba wontim no moyen kwhwemra
me ti say Daddy Lumba wo no one eni ma mi no ba mitim me rehoye because sabe ye lucy eripa ye lucy so aye hunu bi two me de say me de me ho si ho for so many years, over 20 years, sir, me supported Daddy Lumba me God given talent me adakatia makramo na kwa ebusia tanyo mono me nima ye me de pa nima ye me de ankwano ma so de ne crab for dear aye de obetini bia ne breso a na wokọ yampa so ne braso Lumba eja ye hoko adia me de be kai Lumba adia ba ko se ne nyom kate across se bo high life ne se wa bo Lumba nyoma ne enyom no na ne wa mokra me se de Lumba nyoma ye me de makra because e ya se wonim da obi nti we dike di nkra atu bi ankra nti kapa Lumba de na nyoma da makuma so pa ye makra mo Daddy Lumba nyom ye me de pa me kakram yes on say as a DJ your boy your boy party your boy bidie na mum no on say sa me makram no enuma uba would who share enuma to me say yes said actually or say uba na mawuda ha then and be kan oh like would who share ma say to say enuma kan sem be Daddy Lumba obi a menuma me depa any uhia yes sanimo nseme wo mutie ni ya tumu say yes sika anya ade nyina na nso no o se sika da bola so anumia pebi na oyo hene Daddy Lumba ni nyomba mienu na me de ye di kan pa ye uhia 1998 enyumu a odi kan edi baya na abenwa ha na enyo bakwa sa time no enyimri ye party a etimi de sisma de achi
ayo wakra enti muso nyenyo benne ye wode ka wode tum from him
kwame ni Lumba de abebom do mu de abebom de na musom na musom don de me da na fi amontuo na fi amontuo apia to ma nyum dingum maningum and so against yeah me the bouncing mana see me nyanzo sana mi emobia ya kaya baso so na to adapai me no na ma so me ya fa my obidia abebe bi hwe me
onim twa na ade ato aso ofie ho na akra Nana Poku Ashes kwabna ne manager na odi sembi koto gwa ewo Hits FM na moment kohwe symphony imra.
We haven't exhausted. I think we need a month to actually do more, celebrate, and let the future know how this industry has emerged from where it was till now. The iconic Lumba cannot have. I think it actually needs a national celebration. Okay. Seriously, Lumba needs a national celebration, and Robert is here. I'm urging Tata House to lead this campaign.
Tina Accra Nana Poku Ashes or no ya kwabna ne manager na mukoshe no na odiri to go say baby edune de akohia say Charter House ebeye celebration be in honor and in memory of Daddy Lumba na Accra unim say who person wa ware etimi nyin chenya be 33 years and over also mo bia ne de bia o win fight
How?
Ebi wo hwa na we say utimi lose guard na obi ani di nkunim. Obeda ote.
Just like that keke.
Oh yes.
Identity.
Because our we as Ghana han mari bia ye me fepa ye ora John Dramani Mahama ene ne yere. Yes, Madam Lolina Mahama. Very beautiful. Na John Dramani Mahama see. So person wa ware echa. Manu ankasa fantu aso ma ebusa ma enkohwe mfoni we.
One of the key talents you have to make your marriage last 33 years is to try not to argue with your wife. And I'll tell you a very funny story. When we achieved 30 years of marriage, it was a big celebration. And we were sitting in our pastor's office after church. And we're talking about the celebration that was coming, 30 years of marriage. And so my wife started saying that, Pastor, don't you see 30 years of marriage? This marriage has survived because of me. That is me who's made this marriage survive. Otherwise, this man, who would want to marry him? And I remembered what my pastor said. And I said, yes, it has lasted because of you. And I thank God for your life. I couldn't have got a better wife than you. So she looked at me and she said, are you correct? Did you wake up well? So never argue with your wife, you know, and that's a lesson to those whose marriages end after 1 year. As my mother said, she said nowadays the longest marriages last is 5 years. And so it's a little tip to those who are getting married.
Oluma kasan diminisheka. There's a argument in the bar.
Oh yes, money ni kunim.
Yes, you better kwan de bia.
Oh kwan.
Oh, see ebe kwa koyo juma.
Yes, you be ni ye to kwan ni bi.
Da bi unko ba bia. It ya ba argument no, we say akwantu. Oh.
No comment. But then ye be ye.
Kasongo.
Yo ntina ebusia ha na me de ani gede sem Kasiebo no besi me din ya edubia enim pesi
ya edubia enim pesi no de eye ni gede Kasiebo abraye no ye betwa ye hoti akoje ye abafo nkrato ye beba Kasiebo no sempi wechi a ye de beso mo ntwe ye
na ede na ya obayi a oda forma so ne yafunu mu emunum ni.
Oh Mr. Entry also ya reya titi be benfie pi nanso ne yam nyono da se me kire no ahodo amato a me hunu hwe a ebe ya nwanwa
menyi ni se what ulcer tamfo hexa capsules any hexa mixture ya no mbom kotia ulcer no bia ma no anom anka ne ho ato no dadaada ulcer dro die eno ne hexa capsules any hexa mixture
akom ni nchiremu
ulcer ye kura eto ye funu ene ensunumu etuma wo ye funu ekeka wa wogire wo ho a enyi ulcer etumi ema wo ye cheko ebra wadidi awie so how eye ulcer de a kope hexa capsules any hexa mixture nanum bom na ho ebeto
pedudu etu a ko okanshi drug lane Kumasi Dani Herbal Takradi AA Mensa Anafre 02038228555 Apefo abatan ya woma won mofrenofo ene mofra woni mfiedum yeno enka ho Haxa capsules ene ne mixture
ulcer tamfo edie age edwadie nkrato yi atom.
The average human body mass should have at least 60% water for optimal performance in any physical or mental exercise. We can help you maintain it naturally. X Natural Mineral Water. Simply natural. For bulk purchase, call 0596-273-546 or 0596-273-547. This advert is FDA approved.
yɛfɛm na kwa me taxi driver na enka na me sisi so me sisi ama ka me na to na twetwe me nya 3p garlic mixer no aboa me pa
asa miracle bi wadro no just mafu no kra se di sia twini anka me humi esi so se me humi ana esi so obeka se di bibi hye me so bi no na ye normal mi bi pi na ti no ti pa me sa 3 days ni ebe na anka se de nyankopon de ayi bi ahodi se ma yi bi nya sam keto ana se we de me fro aka so na me fa hye me nkwa no
me de abe fa 3 years ni ana asa me gina wa me na mo se shinya se me kwa me de ameko bi amu so much me dru da ba 6 years ni o tema bi am ya ma di se ne me jana saya le ne nku me preko ene fodi ana me koto 3 garlic mixer ni tema me kase yanku pe no yam se ene ya me no kase me wa to me a me din wa me ntia se
3p garlic mixture ubenya bi wo mamu pharmaceutical shops and herbal shops Fred Piwak e wo 02489288824 and 020100002.
Welcome to AutoCheck Vehicle Diagnostic and Licensing Center.
I hear my car can be checked here without going to Accra.
Sure.
Emission, check.
Alignment, check.
Brakes, check. Visit AutoChecks at Koforodia Aquadum Road for the roadworthiness of your vehicle, from saloon cars to heavy-duty industrial vehicles. Madam, your car is now ready for the road.
Thank you so much. Auto checks. Check.
Auto checks. Your safety, our priority.
Check. Auto checks.
Ade. Timesisi. Etwe fa me to ase ha. Ni kotodwe. Ade come na ase twetwe me fa me ntinim. Je meja ene me nsem ye mo hyehyeehye. Na aye titiriti na me hu de amenye.
Cheme ba. Kanena me hawanu no. Kusisa mishia joint fortis. Ene never life. Udompe. Ene waposu ye we no. Etutu no. Joint fortis. Ene na ekwa ye mu atwuma. Na de atichima wo hobia no esensie no. Wintini na emuya wo ya. Etwetwon efiri wusisi edefa wo to ase no wo nan ensem ehyehyɛw ayetitiriti medro ene never life joint fortis ene never life enu ane ba hoto so
MDA ade edwede nkratoyi yi ato
Muntie, ye watching a channel, Afedie, LPA, Ohiani Hochano to Echa, Mega Cash Lucky Box, and Ebe Diwe Hujuma, where ye game will be Disca, instant cash prize. For phone number short code, *426*5#, and no, a pay crime. Mega Cash Lucky Box, and your name crash on beto. Dial short code *426*5#. Our all network. Follow prompt no. Na choose Lucky Box. Na resikation no. Nina ya wodia. We bet near the 500,000 Ghana cedis. Ane 5 billion. Siano sisa sanshi shei. And ela jiatum. Our Caritas lottery platform ne so. Mse shaka krawo ho. Mese menananu. Aguru basa abi brabro tibedo imlenu. Na ma premaye hodo.
As for me, I take very good care of my grandkids. Ye dear grow na yesa. Edru mle bi kra na me ba no timide omo be gumi so weekend no.
Hey, memre.
I don't think I'm catch o say. Ya no medi garlic capsules. Poso na e be sisi so kama. As I stand here, my doctor said my whole system has improved very well. Medi garlic capsules. Yes, Medi garlic capsules.
Medimosis garlic capsules. Boa mamoja dini paduani mu efusani ye. Na esiesie oba ne barima mahona wodin. Ubenya edoi bi ato omanyi mu pharmacy stores freye wo 050-349-4885. Edoi enye mamofra enye ndi mfie dumiem. Apemfo ene emma emanofo. Medimosis. Unni how FDA ajije di nkra tuwe atum.
If I cry
Enter Kasiebo no so fama mo TV XYZ and Power FM ni Radio XYZ ye bekwa ko promo Western North Region esanse regional minister Eyura Wilbert Petty Branchum or wabon homoding ma ye nemu Erica say no se beye na mantem no mo betumi aye adwuma ye nti wakohia regional coordinating council panyefo na on won enya nkitahode ewo anamon a wobetu na wobehwe se adwuma ebeba ede amomfo a won ewo Western North Region ono boyi wabra on panyefo hia wie wodwindwin nema ahoro nyina ho ewie no ochem se mrabi wo ho a wobeye nsakira wo ewo mansi no ma na se mantem no a ebetumi abua mansi ni kropon ahoro a ewo eye mantem no mo se be no ma be konkan na ni sema ode tu yanga maneboni Anthony Akwa enim no bini.
We will work assiduously to make Western North Region a better place in terms of development. The mandate of the council as stipulated in accordance with Article 255 of the Constitution and under the Local Governance Act 2016 Act 963 as amended are as follows. 1. To monitor, coordinate, and evaluate the performance of the district assemblies in the region. 2. Monitor the use of monies mobilized by the district assemblies or allocated and released to the district assemblies by any agency or central government. 3. Review and coordinate public services generally in the region.
Western North Regional Minister Honorable Wilbert Petty Branchum.
Bainam senior wono ewo asenema so across so mansini no emu eyodmonyafo Erica hina kwa nei wone nananam ahemfo a womo ewo ne mansini mu nkrontoa be miensa akwakodi ahyem ne nyina ya adwento ato ase na ebeboa na mansini no atimi atumpon na nsama hodo bia odi tu dwabre ya wone nananam ehia ye no bi enie
Jangamani mama odeshe bukwengo chuma ya de dana kuma so se yene no chuma nyadwuma apomodi ya dia dana kuma so mentino de Mahama Care asan dia ba no ko American yo Obama Care intigana yenso ya teda yo Mahama Care enti yemi anu no achia tu se ono so share de gu akwenu you are in community and say community never support you. You also are directly from government. And the Omajiatu kama say so we are trying to do anymore a very explosive going forward. And Meropa Jangamani Mama Okaya 2016 in Crawford in Toronto so me to Abetiano. And never buy in Crawford a sikifo netete intimacy.
Onumonyamfo Erica Hinakwa ena yatene nkene no achi no nananum ahemfo ya womo ene obrempon sintim poku ya wono ye ohene ewa chimmanso ene berima opon checheku otosomienu achimbata bihene wone wohene ya wono ewo atiankama nkwanta womso ede nsami etudwa.
We are here. And we are perfect. We are here training. Every year we are. That's all. And then we are going to do what we are doing. We are going to do and yet, and yet, yes, as you see, we are as you know, getting to the baby. No one ever one who know me, if I start to have transport, no, that you are. We are trouble, we are president, you will be the president. No capapo, no camono, Nias Ghana, your president said, or no, and was say, DC, enter Messino. Said the summa for the vessel for our mercy. A face we know near to a basse. MP or no so every constituency to say, Nashim.
we ye nananom ahemfo bi a womo ewo asene manso akroso mansino emo ena yete womo enka yamane boni Ebenezer Frimpong ena to yesa enkrai
Gomwa asin brofu yedru obi ahema wo ho ye nanakua adepa ena de afutu akọ ma mebese emiayo amu ho man mu o se menka nche mu se montwe mu ho emfimpri wanyense ho
they don't have this relationship with their children. I come here to do this and my it's when you're done with your case, but you want to choose the new dignity. It's a message I will for the new coin bambam who papa. I call up one panel. Never was it. Then man, we talk with you, but when I was it, I will for Messi in training coin bambam and let's make pregnant at all. The possibility of you going to be one, the possibility of you going to do that, you can even die, childbirth. It's messy when you come to school.
Nanwechi Alright Emmanuel Atu Donko oye headmaster was school honum se was womu hia aban emoya.
In terms of aban ayawobua government schools, in terms of textbooks and let's say feeding and kakon. But private one of the higher private they had them acquainted only as all higher case, especially textbooks because all people available school beginning. Now catch and don't the textbook. So maybe an independent fee in independent lawyers are whatever. The whole year able to put a book on want to textbook for money. But there, say all hand that in training private schools kaka. Oh, I want my government to do more loan. Teachers to me, Oko Bank got loan. Bosan I do too much about what they want school.
No manga de share no so ne begina na anadwofa no nsiabrem Kasiebo ye lebe so mo TV XYZ power 97.9 any radio XYZ na de 3.1 no ha ene edi ni nyinara ebesi ede amamo executive producer na anadwofe Mariam Fuseni aka Mimi na anadwofe obo adwuma ni nyinara mo ye da na si ye pa efe Black Tiger ono ye special bodyguard to the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. Lovely evening muhwe ye nsa na ne eji oh abankasi mu edem sa lovely yanga ya bekin kan nsami de ma mo na fida no do fei midindi akra kofi lovely dako ushami kro betumi aframi kasongo mini
da chima akosia oforiwa amanfo
aka gbatabu yada mase e mo moniti na nipa obo ya chidom eye ofebia